The Muslim Case for Joe Rogan. By now, you have probably heard of the orchestrated campaign to deplatform Joe Rogan. Rogan is the most influential podcaster in America today. His opponents have labeled him right wing, but he's hard to put in a box. On one hand, he endorsed Bernie Sanders for president, wants to legalize marijuana, supports universal basic income, universal health care, and wants to end foreign interventions. On the other hand, he thinks that boys should not compete in sports with girls. Free market capitalism is a great force for good. Freedom of speech and medicine is sacred, and plant based meat is not really meat. In a small way, he's the perfect role model for Muslims, compassionate yet principled, walking the middle path in a society that deplores fence sitters, with each side wanting to pull you down to theirs. The latest and loudest cries for censoring Rogan began with him allowing two of the most accomplished people in vaccine research and epidemiology on his popular podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. Robert Malone, MD, and Peter McCullough, MD, MPH, went on his show and presented their case against mass vaccinations and lockdowns and for early treatments with existing and new drugs. Since Dr. Malone and Peter McCullough's views didn't fit the orthodoxy of the official government narrative, Rogan was labeled as a threat to public health by spreading misinformation. Rogan, who's famously not vaccinated, got COVID last year and beat it within 2 days. He was already in the crosshairs of liberal media outlets who at the time blared that he took a horse medication to cure his COVID. Their TV lab coat doctors demurred in agreement. But this time, he was directly challenging the government establishment narrative of mandated mass vaccinations to every man, woman, and child on the planet. His Spotify employer was in a bind. On one hand, their star performer was doing exactly what they paid him to do, be his authentic self and bring clicks and views to their platform. On the other hand, the government was publicly hinting at silencing this alternative voice. To top it all off, this happened right before Spotify's earnings call to Wall Street. If you're interested in this topic, you can probably read the rest of the saga anywhere online, but for our purposes, I couldn't help but draw some parallels of being a proud Muslim living in America. And I came to the conclusion that we must stand with Rogan. Here are 4 reasons why. Number 1. My faith is the most important part of me. I hold its teachings to be true, even if they don't line up with the faith of others around me. I have no qualms defending my principles if challenged, and I will not succumb to the thoughts and desires of others, no matter how powerful they are, even if that means losing my livelihood. Would we want to be cornered by, let's say, an overzealous president into saying that Jesus is the Son of God and our beloved Muhammad is merely a plagiarist? Number 2, our religious leaders are responsible for reminding us of the teachings from the Quran and Hadith. Plenty of teachings are not compatible with modern societal norms. Try taking clips of Yasser Qadi, Mufti Menk, and Nouman Ali Khan about LGBTQ issues and smash them together in a montage. I bet you can make them sound like monsters by today's standards. Would we want YouTube, Facebook, and the rest to deplatform them? Number 3, as Muslims, we fancy special products and services. Sharia compliant loans, halal marshmallows, maybe even gender segregated gyms, and so on. But a small minority of motivated people take issue with special accommodations for minorities. Would we be fine with them targeting and punishing the entrepreneurs and bankers who offer these services? Number 4, many of us are parents and send our children to public schools. Schools are teaching pretty disgusting topics these days. Adultery is normal, you can pick your own gender, drugs aren't a big deal. Are we to accept those teachings for our kids and not object to the institutionalized corruption of their minds? In all of these scenarios, I expect us to fight for our beliefs, even if most people disagree with us, even if the opposition is a rabid mob hell-bent on silencing us and maybe even deporting us back to the motherland. This is why Muslims need to stand with Joe Rogan and any other person for that matter who's being threatened to be silenced. If they can censor and silence the biggest podcaster in America, who are we to stand up to their power? Jihadi Joe, peace be unto you.